Yeah. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasant evening today, and welcome you all for the evening session on explaining about the development of a real-time weather-based smart sprinkler system. And it's a very important application onto the golf course that we are considering for this today's session. And it can be used in plenty of applications where you can just effectively use this smart sprinkler system to control the water, an essential resource on plenty of your different platform and its applications. So quickly, we'll just move on to understand how to build up an mobile user interface to control the automatic the sprinkler system by using an IBM Cloud Services. And to begin with, we have to understand or we have to create a few accounts and we have to generate few services from the IBM Cloud. So we'll just quickly move on to the platform, how to create an IBM account, and I'll explain you about those things. We'll just straight away going to the Google, uh, uh, the web page, and typing onto the IBM Cloud login. So this is what the page looks like, and it will be popped up and redirected into the page. Stating that IBM Cloud here. If you click on to the IBM Cloud or sign up for IBM Cloud if you are not having any IBM Cloud account. And if you have IBM Cloud account, you can straight away click onto this IBM Cloud. It will take you to that the particular the web directing where the login credentials has to be updated onto that. So it will straight away go to this particular window where it will shows your account details and this window will be projected on your screen. And if you look at it, the screen, the IBM, and it has its dashboard. So for to begin with, we have to first create and three important services that is required for this development of particular project. So one is IBM IoT platform. The other is IBM Node-RED app to be created to develop an interface for retrieving a data to store the data in the cloud and to retrieve that data to display onto the mobile or a web user interface. And also you need to make use of open weather maps data for real-time weather forecasting data, which is also a required important data to control the sprinkler system on the golf course. And also we have to make use of MIT App Inventor for developing a mobile user face mobile app. So those things are the services to be initially created, and those accounts to be initially we have to create. So first to begin with, we'll go with an this is the roadmap, and we'll go with an IBM IoT based off the platform or service to be created. So if you go to the catalog onto uh, the web page, where you have an search, so you can straight away type IBM IoT. So this service has to be created. So it displays over there. Click on to the Internet of Things platform, and it will redirect to this window. It's a small window pop up within that IBM Cloud window, and you can see that there is an create and about. So I want to create an account under a service. So I want to take this service for my application. So hence I'll just select a reason. Any reasons can be selected if you click it down. So there's a drop down window. So you can select any one of your reasons for your the account to create, the service to create. And if you scroll it down, so you have plans. So you have a light plan to be considered, and scroll it down. So you have a service name, you have a select a resource group. So that will be by default, and service name will also be by default. Don't change anything here. So straight away you go to the create option and create here. So once you create, so this service which has been created will be reflected in your IBM Cloud dashboard. If you click onto the IBM Cloud dashboard, so you can look at your the services. So it is buffering, it is taking some time. That depends on your internet speed. So service, when you click on the service, right, you can see it will redirect to the services. So I have a few services which has been created for my application. So there is an Internet of Things. If you click on this Internet of Things, click on to this Internet of Things. I'm explaining you how to launch the service also, creating the service and launching the service. So this it will redirect to this window where you have to click on to the launch. Okay, if you launch it, so straight away it will uh, bring to the particular window where it is redirecting to this page, and this window will be reflected where it gives you a browser device, okay, and members, apps, access management, usage, security settings, etc. So we'll click onto the device. So this is the page which will be blinking on. Now, what is the main agenda of creating this services? So we have to engage, or we have to restrict, we have to absorb the data from the external sensor devices which are deployed on particular field. So in the field, in the sense, it's a golf course because I want to adopt or implement a smart sprinkler system, which going to operate based on the data that is reflected onto your mobile, and you can control them based on your weather forecasting and the sensor data is deployed on your field. Based on that too, the data you can just control your spark so sprinkler system for water resources to be effectively used on that particular platform. So to do that, I actually don't have an hardware components of sensors to deploy onto the real-time on field, but we do have a few services that are inbuilt into the IBM Watson IoT platform. That is, we can develop, we can create and devices where which actually work similar to that of in real time, that is onto the simulator basis. So to do that, I'll just straight away go to the add device. So if I had device, I can add what type of device that I required, which works similar to that of a real-time device. So if I had a device, so then therefore it will redirect to the page that is taking time. Yeah, identify. So here, so you can type a device type, you can add your own device ID, and then you can click next. So that, then it moves to the device information. So where you have to give the metadata for that, it's not required to you. Then you can click on to the security part. So here it is asking for authentication token. So you need not to give any token to that. You can straight away go to the summary and you can click finish here. So it will create its own the security token that's called as an authentication token. So those tokens and those credentials to be copied down onto your notepad, because those credentials will be available for you for few seconds and it will not be displayed. So better you have to copy down all the credentials like device data, device ID, and the security token what has been automatically generated from IBM Watson IoT platform, and copy down that entire data onto your notepad. So that comes handy for us. Next, then after finishing, so you can just go to this board. So I'll just give it back here because I already generated or developed a device. So with the device ID, see, this is the data which will be reflected there. Device ID, device type, and added by my credentials and connection status is now disconnected because I have disabled, I have not enabled, disabled this device simulator. So that is why it is showing the disconnected status. So the device type is what I have given the sensor and the devices, and you can just click on to this the tab where you will get an recent events. Okay, recent events is the page where you can just look into what kind of event that has been conducted so far and what is their respective values, and in the form of format what particular data format is that the value is stored, and when do that the data has been lost received. So to do that, I'll just enable this device simulator. So once I enable this device simulator, so you can see that there is a simulation running here. So if you click on this zero simulation running, you can see what kind of device that type should be available for us. And if you can just use this uh, the button use register device, click onto this register device. So it gives you what type of device to be picked up. My device already I picked up 7267 is my device what has been already picked up, and it will show the event here, device type event. If you click on the event, it brings to one more page opening here, which gives you an the format to the configuration of this device type. So you have to configure it. So what is that configuration that I'm going to do? I'll keep the event type name as event underscore one, and a schedule. What is the number of times is that your data to be reflected or to be observed from that particular field for every minute. So 20 is what the number of times, 20 number of times per minute my data has to be extracted from that field. And with this, I do have a payload option where you can just introduce what type of sensors that you are going to deploy onto the field. So I have deployed a soil moisture, and with the help of a random and 0, 100, this is a particular a program to be written onto the payload window. And by using this editor window, you can also edit different devices that you require. So soil moisture, temperature, humidity, and then also you have a provision where you can upload a CSV file directly from your laptop or from your any other sources. So where which will directly add on all the nature of the devices and what should be the unit values between which the range the data has to be gathered. So my data to be observed between 0 to 100 for a soil measure for temperature 0 to 60, because the field temperature might not exceed more than 50 or 55 in worst conditions, in especially in the Indian geographical condition. So humidity might be around 0 to 100. This is relative humidity, is what I've just introduced here. So once you're done with, so you can just save this, the nature of the, sorry here. So saving this, and then you can just enable this button which is next to that of event. So once you save, it takes a couple of seconds to get saved the data. So once it has been saved, so you can just enable this particular button next to that event, where you can again scroll it up, where you can again scroll it up. Okay, yeah, and you can see with the clicking on this recent event. So I will send the data. So it's an inbuilt IoT devices. So I can enable and I can send this. So it is taking a couple of seconds. Let us wait for simulation to happen. So identity, device information, recent events. If you spend some time on it, you can understand how to what all the features that is present with the services. And so, yeah, this is enabled. This is enabled. Okay, so I'll click on the event here. So now, once these things are saved, so I can just click on send here. So if I send, you can see that some values are getting absorbed from that field on the real time, and it is displaying here. If I click on this, so you can see that what is the values that have been introduced by the event onto the payload. I've introduced the soil moisture, temperature, humidity, and the respective data that is given. It's a random data because it's an inbuilt device. Henceforth, it gives some random data. If you deploy the real-time sensor devices on your field, it gives you real-time data there, right? So I hope you understood how to create an IBM Watson IoT platform account and to device, how to create a device, how to enable this device simulator, and also how to uh, uh, deploy your respective sensors required onto the online simulators and fetching that data here. So next, we'll just move on to the creating a next service. Similarly, go to the IBM services, go to the dashboard, IBM Cloud Dashboard. So again, same similar way, I'll go with the Catla. So where I want to create a next services onto the cloud end. So the a Node-RED Cloudent. The Cloudent is an cloud form storage platform service. So Cloudent is an cloud-based service where you will store the data which has been detected or which has been produced by the deployed the types of sensors, and also you can observe the data from the real-time for weather forecasting from respective different weather reporting applications, weather reporting websites. So when all the data which are observed from the sensors and the data from the real time, which has to be stored in a particular storage uh, content. So that storage is what we have to create a service for. So henceforth, the data is what you have seen in your IBM Watson IoT platform, the data which is generated by the inbuilt IoT sensor data. That data will be directly stored into their respective cloud end. Cloud end is a service which is available in the cloud. So it is an platform where you can store all the data, and also you can retrieve the data from them. So again, I'll go with the Catla. So I'll just type your the Cloudent. Cloudent. If you click on a Cloudent, it gives an Node-RED. So Cloudent. So you can just click on this any one of the services. So when you click on, sorry, you can click on this Cloudent here because that service is already created from my end. So if you click onto the Cloudent, so same way it asks for creating the Cloudent. So create it. Similarly, you can select any one of your available region here, and straight away go to the selection of light. So that get automatically selects your light plan, and it will go with the create. So if you create, it creates one more Cloudent account for you. Okay, that will be reflected on if you go to the IBM Cloud and search it onto the services. Okay, click it onto the services. Okay. So where you can see two services already created. One is IBM Watson Internet of Things created here, right? And other is an the IBM Node-RED Cloud. And if you click on this service, so we have to launch the service and keep that in active nature so that you can access them for storing the data in real time. So you can go straight away into the launch dashboard. So once you launch it, it takes a couple of seconds to redirect to that page based on your internet strength. So it has redirected to this page where you have to straight away go to the create database. Click on to the create database. You can create your database name. I have created as sensor data, and this is size of doc, what kind of documents that's and partitioned or non-partitioned. Go with the no partition. Henceforth, once the sensor data name called as database has been created in respective cloud enter, so henceforth, whenever that data which gets triggered out from the respective IoT sensor devices, that data straight away comes and gets stored in this sensor data type name under database. So this sensor data will act as a folder to observe the data uh, from the sensors, and also observe the data from all other sources which are connected to the sensor data. Right? I hope with this you have understood this creating a very simple service called Cloud Enter. So again, you go back to the cloud IBM Cloud dashboard. So to create one more service called Node-RED app. So that is also very important to develop an interface between the deployed sensor data and open weather data, that's real-time weather forecasting, to either to display onto the mobile user interface or onto the web user interface, and to store the data in the cloud and retrieve the data to display on the web user interface and mobile user interface. So to operate all this activity, to undergo all these events in an activity, so henceforth I required one platform which can act as an user, which can act as an interface between them, intermediate between them, to store the data from the IoT deployed sensors into the cloud end and retrieve the data, display it onto the web user interface. So these all actions can be undertaken easily by creating a service called as a Node-RED applications. So I can just go to the same catalog, click onto the catalog, click onto the Node-RED services. If you click onto it, it's straight away search, goes to the search, and you can go with the Node-RED app. Okay, if you click onto the Node-RED app, same, it redirects to the page stating that you have to create an account. So you can create here, so create it in a couple of seconds. Yeah, so you can get started here creating, and you can get started straight away. So and the once you get started, again going back to the IBM Cloud base where you have created a service for Node-RED app. So that will be under your Cloud Foundry apps. So Cloud Foundry apps, right? If you click onto that Cloud Foundry apps, will again redirect to the service what you have created just now. If you click onto this, so it will go along with the, okay. So if you click onto that, yeah, it will redirect to this page, which I have clicked on from the services. So you can see that running and visit app URL and add tag. So I'll click on, so this is active, it is running, it is active. It is deactive, you scroll it down. So you can see that the activity feed. So when it was active and when it was stop, and you can just look into the activity status. And you can also go with the connections if it is not started, and go to the menu here and click onto the menu. You can see that if it is not started, so it will reflect and pop up a message called not started. So you can click onto that to start the Node-RED service. So and you can click onto the visit app URL, so that will be redirected back into this particular page. So there is an highlighting menu here, so where you can just if you send your cursor, if you drop your cursor onto that, it will reflect onto the, go to your Node-RED flow editor. If you click onto this, go to your Node-RED editor, so it will again redirect to a flow based application development for the user interface to display the user interface, the data which has been observed from the real time, and also to display that onto the web user interface or onto the mobile user interface. So you have different flows here. So number of flows. I'll just go to the already developed flow. So I mentioned it as IoT sensor. So the window what you are looking at is called as a Node-RED flow editor, where you can edit your uh, uh, the activity that I have explained you in the preceding discussion. So I can make use of this flow, and I can develop an very simple uh, flow for observing the data, retrieving the data from the cloud end to display on the web user interface or onto the mobile user interface. It's a backend kind of an development. So this Node-RED flow editor is very importantly required for ensuring all the data are observed and displayed onto the web user interface without having any errors. So to do that, first of all, I'll just click onto the IBM IoT sensor service. I want to get it. So IBM IoT. So I have just got an input and output, two options of an flow nodes. These are called nodes. Okay. So from the IBM flow editor, so I can just click onto this, and I can drop. Uh, I can just hold it on, drag and drop kind of an process. So I can just hold on to that on the left click and drag it and drop it here, right? So if IBM IoT kind of node is not available, if for example, right, then what I can do is going to this menu bar here, dropping down. Okay, go to the information. Sorry, go to the dashboard. So here I have a menu bar next to that of deploy. If you click onto that menu bar, you can have a manage palettes. So if you click onto the manage palettes, so where you can just search for respective nodes. So I want an IBM IoT. Okay, so I got it here. So if I click it on, and that gets added to your uh, the menu bar. So this is a kind of a dictionary where the most of your nodes will be observed and stored here. So if you want a respective nodes to be reflected onto your menu bar, you can just type it here, and you can just move that particular node for your application, right? So then you can see that it is present onto your IBM menu here, right? So you can drag and drop it here. So I get it. So double click onto that. Where you have authentication to be done, you have to configure this node before deploying this node. So you have to authenticate, you have to have credentials to authenticate here, and you have a pencil icon structure. If you click onto this, okay, it will just open up with an next editor here. So I'll just name it as IoT API and API key. So this API key is what is available on your Node-RED application where you have developed this Node-RED app. Okay, so that API needs to be observed. So this API will be almost. I just explain you where do we get that API. So you can go to the and you can go to the cloud and yeah, IBM Watson IoT platform, the same service. So go to that service. They have apps. You click onto these apps. So here you already created an API for that respective IBM IBM available services. That service was that generate an inbuilt sensor data, right? So where I have just withdrawn some already inbuilt sensor data available into the IBM Watson IoT platform. So during that, I have created a API for that respective. So you can just observe this is a API which is available. So you can click onto this. So it gives all the details of it. This is the API what I've just copied here and I've pasted on the Node-RED. Okay. So this IBM IoT sensor. So where I just make use of that API, and also the token which was generated out of that, you have copied it onto a notepad. So there you'll get an API token. You pasted the API token, and you have API key. You paste that API key and give update, and then you fill rest of the content as per the requirement. So the device type, device ID already I've created onto the IBM Watson IoT platform. Event I've created that. The file format is in a JSON. JSON is a JavaScript format. Okay, and the IBM IoT sensor, the name is, and the service is registered. I'll give done. So I've done with IBM IoT service sensor a configuration of this node. So next I can just withdraw one more the node from here called as an sensor data, or I'll call it as an cloud. So because you can see the cloud symbol here. So cloud. So cloud and in or cloud and out. It's a cloud and out. I'll just drop here cloud and out because I want to dump all the data which are generated onto the IBM IoT platform by using an inbuilt sensors. So the sensor data is to be pushed into the cloud end, which has been already generated as a cloud and services. So this IBM IoT platform, Watson platform, will absorb the inbuilt sensor data and it push into the data, push into the cloud and database. So database name was the sensor data, correct? So if I'm not wrong, yes, the cloud and database name is a sensor data. So the data absorbed from the respective sensors will be pushed into the sensor data by the help of this IBM IoT service. So now I want to create a function nodes for respective IoT sensors which has been already deployed. So the respective sensors are, I'll just go with a function node. So go to the function node, again drag and drop here. So the first function node, I want the three functions to be deployed here. One is for soil moisture, the other is for temperature, other is for humidity. So if I click onto the function node, so you can see here, I want to configure this node. So how do we configure it? So the configuration is onto the message.payload is equal to message.payload, because that data were all written on the payload editor. Okay, if you just remember in the previous where we have generated a service onto the IBM Watson IoT platform. So device type and a device what we have generated there. So it is where I've inputted some data for the sensors onto the editors. So in the editor, I have just mentioned what type of sensor I required and I have deployed it. So similarly, so I want to write the type of a sensor for the respective function. So message.payload.soil moisture, and I want to set this globally, this variable to be set globally, because this data should be withdrawn from the cloud end and has to be displayed on web user interface or mobile user interface. To do that, I want to set this variable to a global form. So it is a local form. So I want to set it to the global form. So I will set this as global.set. Okay, soil moisture, comma message.payload.soil moisture. That's all, and I'll give a name for it. So give it done, right? So similarly, you just drop down two more functions. You just drag it and push it onto the flow editor. Two more functions, the same way. So click onto that, edit it. Okay, so click onto that, edit it. Once you're done with, so you have to display this the data onto the web user interface in an particular format. So there should be a proper way to display onto that user interface. So to develop that, so I want to display this data onto the gauge form. So I'll go with the gauge as one of the node. I'll again drag and push it onto the flow editor. So I want three gauges to display the three different the data of sensors. So first I'll click onto the soil moisture, clicking onto that. So I want to name this. So naming the group, and I'll just use this. So I'll just make sure of tab name and a name for the group has been given, and update it, and update recent, and then and the respective data here, details into the tab gauge, soil moisture. So I'll give the value format as value only, because already I've given that values in the soil moisture function. So and the units, and between minimum and maximum is 100. So the range what you are mentioning here, this range should be the same range what you have mentioned while you deploying an sensors onto the IBM Watson platform. So you have mentioned it here, right? Go to the device. So you can see here. So clicking onto the simulation, so clicking onto the event. So I mentioned it range is random. You can see the soil moisture 0 to 100, temperature 0 to 60, and humidity 0 to 100. The same range to be mentioned here when you are editing the gauge node for the respective sensors, right? So then I'll give a done. Similarly, go with the temperature. So same way you edit all the group name and tab names, and give the type as a gauge, label the temperature, because above the gauge, so it should represent with that particular label temperature. So up below the temperature there will be a temperature gauge. So the label is for represent what type of gauge is it? Is it what type of sensor gauge is that representing? So the range is 0 to 60. Okay, in the same way I'll go to the humidity. So I'll just type all the things, the humidity between the range 0 to 100. So this is what the random value I've considered. Okay, when you are deploying an actual sensors onto the field, so you can just make use of what is the range available in the sensors, and also the range what you require or what you are looking into. Okay, for that data to be absorbed, right? Once you're done with this, and you just click onto this and connect all the nodes available here, and you can make use of message.payload, one of the node. Why this node is required is, this node is required to see through that is that the output is proper or not. So this output will be displayed here onto the debug message here. So you can just look at it. There is options. One is information, and there's a help, and there's a debug message, and quickly you can see the dashboard. If you click onto the dashboard, this shows how this node has been built by using the respective the tabs and links and layout. So if you click onto the debug, okay, if you go to the delete all the checks. So now if you deploy it, now you deploy it. So after each and every nodes configured and connected to the respective the nodes, you have to deploy it. Once you have deployed it, so you can see that what's happening here. So it is displaying the weather continuously. These weathers are from the IoT IBM platform weathers, and also the open weather data is also displaying here, right? So that is what you are looking at here. So if you click onto this, you can see that this is open weather data. We'll just expand it in the later part, right? So that is how you have to deploy it, right? So next, we'll proceed further. Again, what I want to do now. So now, next to that, the dashboard. So if you click onto the dashboard, there's a pop-up kind of the symbol representing here next to the theme. If you click onto this pop-up, it will redirect to one page where exactly it reflects how exactly your the data will be projected onto the web user interface. So you can also make use of this URL, copy this URL and paste it onto the new tab where it will directly redirect to this page. So you can look at here, the sprinkler system is what the tab name, and this is a group name, and these are the labels. Soil moisture, temperature, humidity are the labels under which is reflecting onto the values here 58, 42, and 12. These are the values which was obtained onto the IBM IoT platform when I just triggered the sensors uh, which uh, um, which given out some data value 58, 42, 12, which is what reflecting onto this user interface web user interface 58, 42, and 12. Below that, I also added a two buttons, sprinkler on and a sprinkler off. I'll be explaining that into the node right flow here. So to observe that data, to reflect that data onto the web user interface, so I want to use a few more functions to retrieve the data from the cloud and database, that was sensor data, and to project it onto the web user interface onto the web page. So I'll just pull down this one more node called HTTP request. So I wanted to I wanted to request an HTTP so that the HTTP request will request an cloud and database where the data is stored, that is sensor data, to reflect onto the web user interface. So I'll just drag it down and push it here, click it onto the HTTP input. So method is get, and I'll use a URL as sensor data because the data to be observed from the database name as sensor data. Done. Next, I'll go with again a function, one more function. Click onto this function. So I'll just write a few points here. Message.payload is equal to soil moisture. That is equal to global.get. So I've already set that functions of respective sensor data as global values. I've set that as a global values. So I want to observe the data which is stored in the cloud end on the form of a global get. So I want to get that because the method was HTTP request was get. So I will make use of this format to get the data which was stored in the database, cloud end database sensor data. So I want to write this soil moisture global.get soil moisture. So similarly, I want to write for temperature, okay, and on the similarly I want to write for humidity, okay, and also I've written for temperature and humidity for open weather data also, right? So I'll just explain in the later part. Now you just understand writing the message.payload to fetch the data which are already stored in the cloud end, okay, onto the web user interface. I want to use this make node function, and then I just click for an HTTP request a response node. Okay, I'll just drag this, I'll put it here, response node. So I'll just give done here. So nothing to be edited or configured onto the node. So I've just you make use of HTTP in node and function node and HTTP response node. Okay, and interconnecting them again, you give and deploy here. So once you have deployed it, so this three the nodes help us for reflecting the data onto the the web user face in this way, right? So I have configured the node. I've made use of respective nodes. I've configured the nodes, and I've connected the nodes, and also I've made HTTP request for the data to be retracted from the cloud end and to display on the web user interface. So I have configured their respective nodes with their functions. So configuration represents the labeling, okay, and also gauge how do this respective the data looks like on the web user interface. So next is I want to make use. So once the data are observed, so I want to get the open data from the weather now. So once therefore the data from the sensors, inbuilt sensors are obtained, now I want to get the weather data from the open source. So that I will make use of open weather kind of an map website. So you can just click on open weather maps. So then it will just take you to, just type it on open weather maps. Click it on it onto the Google. So if you introduce this open weather map onto the Google search, so it will redirect you onto the open weather map. So if you click onto this, so you have to create an account for open weather map. Once you create an account, that automatically generates your API for fetching and the weather forecasting on uh, per minute basis or onto the 10-minute basis. So once you create an account, so the page looks like this. So your API, if you click onto this API, so that shows your generated unique API. So this APIs will be generated for their respective accounts, unique type accounts. Okay. So this API will be different for different accounts, right? So if you create an account in your name, so the API what is created will be different. So you have to make use of that API. So what I'll do is I want in current and forecast data. So I'll go with the current weather data. So API doc. I'll click on the API doc here. So it will redirect to the the within inbuilt page here. So if you look at it, we have a different syntax to represent that API data. So the API call. So this API syntax calls are required to call for an online weather data on hourly basis or minutely basis or on the second basis, anything that can be observed. And also you can define what geographical location that you are looking at for the weather data. So I just make use of this syntax, and I'll copy this. Once I copy this, I'll keep that copy onto the notepad. So you can see that. So api.openweathermap.org/dat data slash 2.5 slash weather question mark and q is equal to, and you have city name. You can just use your any city name for your weather forecasting to be done, right? And then app ID. So that is API ID which has been generated and mailed to your respective mail ID. So that API has to be collected. It's a unique set of API for your account which has been created, and make use of that API here. And also you type in a required city where your data to be forecasted and observed. So the city name can be an your Hyderabad or Bangalore or Chennai, any of such specified data locations. And you can get more than 2 lakh cities the data which are available on the open weather maps, right? With this, I'll just copy down this and paste it onto the notepad. I'll go again back to the node ready here, because I want to fetch that data from the open source open weather maps, and I want to store that data in the cloud end. Either I can store that data in the cloud end, or I can directly reflect onto the mobile app user interface, right? So now what you looked at is an web user interface. Now I want to develop a mobile user interface. So before that, I'll just make sure that the data from the open weather map will also be observed here. So to do that, again, I want to make use of two buttons, because I want two buttons to be also reflected onto the mobile user interface to control the sprinkler on or off based on the weather data and IoT sensor data. So I'll just drop down, I'll just click onto the button here onto the node. So you have a button, dedicated button node. Yeah, you have a button node. Yeah, again, drag and drop it here. So click it onto this. So same, you have to configure the node. So configuring the node, and I'll just configure onto the group of a tab of a sprinkler system. So done. Again, the sprinkler off. So you all update all the data, and you create the edit button here. So if you click onto the web user pair, you can see the sprinkler on and sprinkler off, two buttons are enabled here. So it is reflecting on, right? So that has to be connected to the IBM IoT sensor. So output IBM IoT sensor node, IBM IoT. Okay, so this is out. So that was an in, IBM IoT in, it was in, and now it should be out because the data should be reflected out, correct? Yeah. Next, I'll make use of again HTTP request to uh, retrieve the data. Okay, once the data is already showcased onto the web user interface, so I want to retrieve the data now. So how to retrieve the data? I want to again write a proposal for HTTP request. So I will just again go with an HTTP in, click onto that. I'll go with the method get and URL is command. So I'm commanding to, so I'm requesting for the data to be reflected. So again the function, click onto the command. So I want a command message.payload is equal to message.payload.command. So next I'll go with the HTTP response, same, no edit of HTTP response as usual. So done. And it is connected to the message.payload because to see through that is that the data is reflecting properly onto the output. So output, if you click onto the debug, so the data's output will be reflected here, right? So this data's why it is reflecting is here because I have made an uh, because I have written a program for displaying and the open weather data forecast for every 2 minutes or 1 minute second duration. So because of that duration, it is reflecting all the data of open weather as henceforth this Node-RED has been deployed here. So once therefore HTTP is created, so the command is cleared, is connected through a message.payload, and one more command arrow mark is connected to the IBM IoT. Based on this command, you can observe the data from the cloud end, which has been already stored. So based on that, it will be reflected onto the user interface, either onto the web or onto the mobile. So based on that, you can use these buttons for on or off the sprinkler to control the water resource. Now the last one is what I want to now um, observe the open weather data and store it. I'm not going to store it onto the cloud end. Straight away, I'm just displaying that data onto the mobile user interface. So to do that, I just go with an inject node because I want to inject the data from the open source, that is open weather maps, for either what kind of intervals or onto the 1 minute interval, 2 minute interval. So I want to keep on injecting that data, so which has to be displayed on the mobile user interface. So based on that, I can control this sprinkler system, right? So that is why I'll go for inject node. So again, the drag and drop it here. So click it on to the inject type. So I have given a message.payload as timestamp, and I can make an arrangement here based on our requirement. None, you can give a none, or I give an interval. What should be interval? For every 5 seconds I have given. So I can go with a minute. So I'll go with an for every sorry for every 1 minute. So for every 1 minute I'll enable. Then you can see the data is what is reflected here in the left column. So will be quite a bit of lesser data will be triggered because the individual data is to be triggered for every minute. So you can see that 7:24:38 p.m. was the one data, and previously it was like 48:43. For every second, the data was been triggered from the open weather maps. Now I will just change the interval for every minute, so it will be uh, generated by the triggering the data. So I give an enable here. So give done. So once it is done, and you call for HTTP request, okay, you call a one more node, drop it here, click onto the HTTP request, go for method get, and you paste straight away the uh, yeah, the syntax what was copied from the current data. This was the syntax that we have copied, correct? So copied that onto the notepad and pasting that onto the URL here and making a alteration of what particular city that you are looking in for where the data to be observed. So I have just typed it as Bangalore, comma IN is an Indian code and the APP ID. So this is what the APP ID and which is generated for my account. It's a unique APP or API key which will be created for the respective accounts, right? Once you're done and you click onto this return, so a parsed JSON object. So you have to parse in the data there. Give done, which is enabled there. So this is enabled. Again, you can make use of message or payload to display is the data what is triggered and observed is reflected properly or not. So next, again, you can make use of three functions. So for getting a three different values from the open weather data. So here in the open weather data, you have plenty of the data for weather forecasting are available. But for my, I can just check it out. Let me check it out. Is that the URL is working? Go to the Node-RED, click onto the HTTP request. Okay, copy down this URL, copy and open with a new page on Google with the new tab. Paste it here. You enter. So once therefore enter is given, so yeah, it will display the data. You can see that. So coordinate, so longitude and latitude where that specific city is located, and you can see the weather data here. Main clouds description, broken clouds, okay, base stations, main temperature, feels like, okay, the temperature is like there is a minimum and maximum temperatures, pressure values, humidity, visibility is 6,000, wind speed is 1 meter per second, and degrees and clouds. And you have respective data for the country, India, okay, for the location, the Bangalore here. So in the same way, you can just fetch your weather data for your respective cities, and you can make sure that is that the API is working properly or not. So I've used this URL and pasted it directly onto the new tab, so I can fetch this data here. Right? I'll go back to the flow here. So the same thing I was just explaining. So hence I want three functions have been created here. Why three functions? I want only a three data to be observed here. So out of this plenty of data, I want the three data. One is the temperature, maximum temperature. I'll go with the humidity and I'll go with the wind speed. So to obtaining a three data, so I want to create a three function nodes here. So if you click onto the function here, so you can see that I'm not given the name here. If you want it, you can give a name. I can give temperature max. Okay, done. And you can see that global dot set. I'm setting these values, and then I'll get this value by using the command button there, right? So now I'll set these values. So once the globally it is set the variable, I can easily fetch that value by the globally getting it by using a get method. So done. So next is function. I'll go with okay, fine. Same similarly, the last function I wanted wind speed. So I can name this as a wind speed. Okay, same globally dot set that. Once you've done this, okay, so now I want to deploy it. So deploy. Okay, this message dot payload already I told you this is for displaying whether the triggered data are properly reflecting onto the web user interface or a mobile user interface, right? So that you can trigger it here also once you deploy. So I have not enabled this. Enable, done. Okay, so it was disabled, so I have enabled, done. Again you give a deploy. So deploy, it's fine. Now I want to go to the web page. Okay, click on the web page. So I want to globally set it. So if I go through that, first soil moisture I set, temperature I set, humidity I set. These three parameters obtained from the deployed IoT inbuilt sensors. So you can see that temp. So this parameters are obtained from the open weather data. So I want to get that globally because I have set it globally. So again, therefore, bit, and I wanted humid, and finally we'll go with the wind speed, right? So I given just a wind here because why? In the API, it is representing only just a speed, and the wind is what the main entity. Under the main entity, the speed is what mentioned. So I want to mention the speed only to retrieve the data. If not, the data will not be retrieved. Anyways, okay. Once we have done all this, so connect this interlink and deploy it. So this ends up your Node-RED flow editor to make a smoother user interface between the observing the data, storing the data in the cloud end, and to retrieving the data and displaying on the respective platform. So once your Node-RED has been closed and open weather data account been created and fetching that API of the respective, now we have to display this entire the data on a mobile interface, the user interface. So to develop that mobile user interface, we want to log into one of the website where they provide us a platform to develop an mobile app developing uh, platform. So to click onto that, I'll go to the new window tab, and I'll click onto the appinventor.mit.edu. So it will redirect to this page. I'll click onto the create app. So once you create app, it asks for your credentials, or if you don't have any previous login account, you have to create an account here. Create an MIT App Inventor account. So it will redirect to this page where it will show your go to the this blank page. So there will be a blank page here because you have not yet been created a project here. Go to the start new project, click on to the start new project. So new project will be uh, reflected, displayed, and you can create a new project by stating that I have stated as a sprinkler system. So this window will be opened. So here we do have two screens here. One is a designer screen, the other is a block screen, right? So designer screens are meant to reflect your the front end user interface, right? This is how the cell phone looks like. This is an app basically meant for developing an mobile app on Android platform. Okay, no other platform will be accessible by using this app development web. So using this MIT app developer uh, platform, so I can just develop a front end and a back end. Both the things can be more clear on that. And it's a kind of educational platform. So you're looking at into this screen is called designer screen, where you can design different layouts using a different layouts. How do your data to be reflected onto your user screen, right? So I have designed it very simple, basic way for reflecting the data, and by making use of all the uh, palettes entities here. So you can make a search and respective components, and you can again drag and put it onto this. So if you click onto this, so you can see that components, what components that I have made use of to create this the front end user interface. So first is the screen one. So this is screen one. So you can just change the screens, different screens. So I've set it for screen one, and there I have an horizontal arrangement. So this entire the green light, the green color which is highlighting here. Okay, as you click onto this component, so the green what is highlighting is an horizontal arrangement. So I'll go to the layout. I'll make use of horizontal arrangement. Again, click onto this, drag and drop it here. Pull and drop or drag and drop here, right? So you will get an horizontal arrangement, and then I want a label. So the label is what? The soil moisture. So this is an entity to be reflected there, parameter to be reflected. So similarly, add a text box next to that of a label. So the label is available onto the user interface. Click onto the user interface. You have a label here. Drop the label, drop the label here, and edit the label. So if you click onto the label, so that's a label number 3. It is mentioning here, right? So if you look at here, so all the label number 3 properties are available. So font bold I have defined. I have defined a font size. So going below, I have defined an height. I have defined an width. The what should be the text that should be reflected here into the particular text. Sorry, into the label. So I've just defined it. Where what is the text alignment should be? Is it left or right or center? So right. So that has been selected, and what should be the text color I've selected, it should be visible, right? So I have shown you for one particular parameter to display. In the same way, you have to figure out what are the required parameters to be displayed on. The soil moisture, temperature, humidity, all these three parameters are reflected here. It should be reflected. All these three parameters are from the IBM Watson IoT inputted sensors data. Whereas this weather, maximum temperature, relative humidity, and wind speed, these data are all available from the open weather maps, right? So henceforth, these two data are already made to store in their respective data sheet onto the under the cloud and services. So I want to design this user interface, and I want to retract that data, or retrieve that data, and has to be displayed here, right? To do that, so also I want to create a buttons here. So in the same way, what I explained for a soil moisture, you create it for temperature, create it for humidity, create it for weather max, create it for relative humidity, go it for a wind speed, create it for a wind speed. So next I will click onto the sprinkler on. So in the sprinkler on, if you click onto that, I want a button. So in the same way, you have a button option here, drag and push it here. So then if you click onto this button, so you can see that there's a button option which is reflecting on here. The button is the button is one of the component made use of here. And if you click on the button, you can see the properties what have been edited here: enabled font bond. So these are all the properties which can be edited based on your requirement, right? So hence therefore, if you drop it down, so I've changed the color to the red and visible for a sprinkler on. Same way I can create it for a sprinkler on. So these two buttons will be triggered based on the data what have been fetched from the cloud and or from open weather maps to control the sprinkler on real time onto the open golf course, right? So this is an the screen one, the designer front end design for the mobile user interface. So if you go for backend, clicking onto the blocks here, so in the backend, so there is an few. This is an kind of very a systematic way of writing a program on the back end. So this particular platform helps even a non-coder to develop this mobile app. So the non-coder need not to make use of any of the coding language to write the program. So you can make use of these blocks to arrange them in proper way, so that you can fetch that data stored in the data sheet under the cloud and reflect onto your mobile user interface, right? So to do that, click onto the blocks. So you have some built-in blocks available, and also you have the web and the web clocks. These are all the components which are made use of in the screen one, where the designers to build an user interface. These are all the components will also be displayed here. And we have two components which have not been mentioned, which have not been explained to you in the previous preceding part. So I'll be just explaining you a web one and a clock one. So if you go to the designer here, all the parameters will be displayed on the screen. The two parameters which will not be displayed on the screen is a web one and a clock. So where you will get this web, so go to the connectivity, click onto the connectivity, you will get a web. Again, drag and pull it onto that, you will get that. Okay. So in the same way, where you will get a clock, so click onto the uh, media. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. So if you go to the sensors, you get a clock here, because you have to trigger the sensors based on your regular intervals. So that is why I will make use of a clock here. So I'll drag this clock and drop it here, non-visible components. And again, in the same way, I'll go with the connectivity. Okay, I'll go with the connectivity and drag and drop this web page here, right? These two components are non-visible component, which is dragged onto the screen one. So if you go to the block here, on the left menu, you have some blocks which are built in, and you have all the components which are enlisted here. so which were made use of in the user interface. And you have button 1 and button 2 for dedicated to their sprinkler on and sprinkler off. You have web and web 1 and a clock 1. Now what I want to do is I want to trigger the sensor data which are available on the cloud data into the mobile user interface. So I'll make use of a clock here. I'll click on the clock. So this block, which is when clock 1 and a timer do. So when a clock 1 comma timer do, this block is available here onto the control. So if you go to the control, okay, I want the particular the clock to be reflected on. So you can click onto the clock component. You click onto the clock component. These are all the blocks which are dedicated for their respective components, right? But there are few more built-in blocks which are available in the system itself. If these components do not establish a particular blocks, then you can make use of these additional blocks to integrate these components, right? That is why these inbuilt blocks are required. So if you click onto this clock, so you can see that when clock 1 dot timer, so again you click onto this and drag and drop it here. So drag and drop. Next, where do you want to fetch that data? So you have to fetch that data from the web, that is with the URL too. So the URL is, so Node-RED URL. So that is what user interface. I've just shown it. You can see that sensor data. So if you copy this, okay, and paste it onto the new tab, we'll do that. You can see the data, what data that are pushing out. You can, okay, I have copied down. So I'll just paste it onto the new tab. You enter. So this is the data which is reflecting here, right? You can see the data on the soil moisture, temperature, humidity, humid, and speed. So this data should be reflected. If this is reflected, that indicates your Node-RED flow editors are perfectly uh, perfectly built and in turn perfectly connected to their respective sensors and data are fetching. So you can make a small modification with this URL. I'll just give a slash UI user interface on a web. You click it on, it will, okay, fine, it is not getting, yeah, I'll just copy down this, copy, and if you paste it on, okay, if you click it on OK, then you must be able to look at the screen, right? The same data are reflected onto the web user interface, right? This is how the web user interface looks like, right? I hope you understood this. We'll straight away go to the MIT app now. So that is why this URL is made use of and it is copied on. So web1 URL to call web1 to get. So I want to get this by using a get method because that was a command HTTP request that I have made onto the node flow. So this is the web page request I have made it. So I want to get that data there. So I have just defined a block and I have just integrated that few blocks into so that I got it. This set web1 is also available. This block, when you click onto the web1, okay, if you scroll it down, you will get an set web1 with URL. Where is that? Set web1 with URL. Again, drag it and drop it here. Connect to this clocker. Similarly, call web1.get. Again, you click onto the web, you will get this request here. Call web1.get. Okay, you can click, you can push, or you can drag and drop it here, right? So by making this, you will get the data for the respective parameters, soil moisture, temperature, and humidity from the respective sensors which are deployed on the IBM Watson IoT platform. Now I want to get the data from the open weather maps, right? So how to get that open weather maps, and the data what is available will be in the JSON format. So I want to convert that into JSON format text data, right? So to make use of it, again I'll make use of these blocks. So again I'll go with an web.got text. In that I'll use an response content, okay, to get response content, right? So I'll make use of an text box one because text box one is where your first data soil moisture to be reflected. So if you go to the designer, so this is soil moisture. If you click onto this, so this is a text box one, right? So here the data should be the data, the value of the sensor to be reflected. So that is why I want to create that. So I want to fetch the data from the web and has to be reflected onto the text box one. So look up to that, the pairs what is available, that available pair of keyword should be the soil moisture. So my keyword is the soil moisture, and I'll make use of to get that data from the web. So that available JSON text decode to the JSON text. So I want to decode that JSON text value to text value. So text value is the value, some value of the sensor. So I'll make use of and get response content. So in the same way, I'll build it for text 2. Okay, text 2 is for what? Text 2 is for temperature, and text 3 is for humidity. Similarly, text 4 is for maximum temperature, text 5 is for relative humidity, and text 6 is for and speed. Okay, so I have defined this text. So I want the values to be reflected in the text box. So again, I'll go for block in the same way how I have developed and blocks for text 1, text box 1. Similarly, I'll just develop for text box 2, text box 3, but with their respective keywords will be temperature, humidity, temp from the open weather maps, humid, okay, and if you scroll it down, the speed. So I've done all this, and finally I want to make use of buttons, that sprinkler button on or off. So again, I'll call it as button, where from the clock. So that should be from the clock. So I'll click on when button, sorry, button. So I want to go for the button here. So I'll make use of the controls. So in a control, so we have, what is that? Okay, when button dot click do. Okay, yeah, I'll go with controls. When button dot click to. Or I'll go with the buttons. Yeah, buttons. Sorry, I want to go with the buttons. So in the buttons, when button dot click do, okay, button dot click do. So set web1 URL to. So this URL will be onto the user interface URL. So that is what, if you go to this command. So that is what the command. I am commanding the sprinkler button to on or off. So this command option is what I have already built on the Node-RED Flow Editor. So by using this command, okay, so which is connected to the IoT sensor output, because the data will be stored here from the previous respective sensor deployed and open weather data. So it is connected to sprinkler on and off, which in turn is connected to the command. So this is what the command I am giving for the sprinkler on or off. So that is what I want to build a block here. So web1.url to command that URL and call web1.get. So that is also to be get onto the global variable. So in the same way, button 2, I just observed, I have just created the same by changing the button to, okay, the same URL holds good for that. The same command I want to input as an URL here. So with this, this URL is nothing but text. This is a text. So if you click onto that, you can use this text here, right? If you click onto the text, you can use that. This is only for URL. This is the text. Okay, this is a node I have made use of this between that two uh, code between that two a double quotes. So there is a double quotes. Between the double quotes, I have made introduce this URL, right? So with this, we have developed an mobile user interface by using this MIT App Inventor. So if you click onto the designer, this is how it looks like, and if you click onto the blocks, it is how it looks like. And now, how to display this the data onto your Android mobile? So go to this above option called Connect here. Click onto the Connect, and you have three different ways where you can just reflect this data on your Android mobile. So click onto the AI companion. So when you click onto that, it pops up with a message that QR code. So you just open up your Android cell phone and download MIT AI2 mobile app, okay, from your Play Store or from your Google Store. So once you download that app, MIT AI2 companion app, So install that app and open that app and scan this QR code. So it will straight away make use of this user interface, and this particular screen will be shared onto your Android cell phone, and you can fetch the data there straight away. So this data, so once you enabled and it is connected with the Node-RED and it is deployed, okay, so that data can be reflected onto your cell phone, right? So based on that data is reflected, you can make use of the sprinkler button on or off for controlling the water circulation or water sprinkling onto the golf course based on the real-time weather data also from the open weather source. So by using that two parameters, so you can effectively make use of water resource available on the golf course, or make sure that to keep the golf course more perfectly land provided with them, right? With this, I hope I have made clear on this particular project with my limited knowledge. If there is any wrongdoing undergoing this process, so kindly consider that, because this might be the first the presentation from my end. And I'm beginning with, I am also a starter with learner. So of course, there might be a few mistakes undergone during this entire flow of presentation. So kindly consider that and make sure that we'll just, improvise on this in the coming sessions. So with this, I'm happy for presenting it in front of you, and I hope you understood so far. With this, I'll be closing on for today's session. Thank you for your patience listening.